guys, how's it going? This is the Multimedia Madness podcast. As usual, you got Davis and Jayden here.
Sup?
We are doing a little different one today. We're talking about some of our kind of favorite cartoon slash anime shows as we liked as kids, and maybe a little bit as adults, because you gotta still love some things as you do from a child, and just because you're an adult doesn't mean you can't like some cartoons and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jayden is going to be talking a little bit more of his gaming corner as he normally does, and we're going to chime in a little bit on that. But other than that, nothing too major. We're just going to be having a little bit of fun. But so as soon as you're ready, Jayden, let's start the show.
All right, let's get into it. So the first thing that we have today, I retweeted a tweet a long time ago of a girl who was playing Apex Legends, and she fucking threw her cat behind her because she was sitting on her lap and she was getting focused. I retweeted it with the satirical comment of what the fuck, she just yeeted that cat. It being a serious moment though, because that's not okay. That's not okay to just fucking yeet your cat. So the internet was out for blood. Keemstar, the owner of Drama Alert, the host of Drama Alert, he retweeted and he said about this, he was like, hey, this lady needs to be banned. If she was a male, she'd get banned instantly. Just because she's a female, she's getting preferential treatment. Don't let this happen. And that tweet just blew up such a storm that even PETA were like, hey, this is animal abuse. You need to stop this. So everyone's like, yeah, she should get banned. According to her and her private Discord, she's not. According to this post by GameBite, Twitch's Alinity, that's her name, won't be banned for throwing a cat, but her haters might. And I love this because the picture of Alinity is her taking a sip of vodka and feeding it to her cat.
Ah, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, she's messed up. So she's a 31-year-old woman. She's streamed World of Warcraft and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And she fucking just threw her cat. So I'm just going to have this play real quick, but it's not okay for this to happen. Like, this has 7.39 million views, and this is on the PETA version of the video, because, Keemstar threw this tweet out, but it's absolutely nuts. Okay, it's like, there you go. Boom! There goes the cat. Just gone. Just fucking...
Yeah, I've seen the video.
Yep, it's absolutely nuts.
I saw one of reply. Someone replied by someone catching the cat.
Catching the cat.
Yeah, I saw the chain on Twitter the other day.
There you go.
I didn't know what that was all about, because I don't follow stuff on like Twitch or Discord or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I thought it was just I didn't know it was something that was actually serious. I thought it was just someone being like, woo, and then someone because I only saw that catching reply GIF.
Yeah.
Basically, or video or whatever it was. So I thought it was just something funny. I didn't realize it was actually like some chick being a fucking animal abuse, like tossing her animal.
Yeah, and I can understand, you're in the middle of a game, so you could take the cat and put it down, maybe the tiniest bit roughly. That's fine, but you're fucking yeeting this cat, and everyone's like, some people are defending her, being like, oh well, cats land on all 4 feet, and she's actually an animal lover. Like, if you've watched her streams, it's clearly not, because she has multiple clips of her doing shit like this. She fed vodka to her cat, and she threw her cat. What more evidence do you kind of need? But anyways, let's move on to what the actual thing said. She wrote on her Discord server, "Don't worry guys, I'm fine. I spoke to someone at Twitch today and I'm not getting banned, but people who have been harassing me might be." So I can understand harassing, but the fact that people are just like, hey, you should be banned for doing something like this, that's not harassment. No. Harassment is, hey, you said a bad word on stream, you accidentally said poo poo, we're gonna make sure that that word was audio edited to say some dreaded word that you're not allowed to say, and it's thrown everywhere. That's not okay. That's harassment. That's the stupidest form of harassment, but that's harassment. Harassment is not people being like, hey, we're standing up for animals because you're clearly an animal abuser.
And unless the people that are coming back talking about this are people saying, insulting her personally, unless it's multiple, the same person going over the same thing over and over and over, that would be harassing, I guess. It'd still be, whether it's justified or not, it's still like talking in someone is being an asshole to someone regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be, I again, I don't know the story. So
Mm-hmm.
if it's the everyone like if they're like calling her an asshole and everything all the time and everything, then yeah, what she did is not right, but like you still that's the other side of the coin too. You can't be like, "Oh, you fucking bitch" or anything like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
that's what a lot of people are doing.
especially over and over and over and over again. If
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
that's probably where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see how when time goes on, but everyone's out for blood because they're like, this is not equality, this is not right by any means. And the fact that people are agreeing with PETA at this stage in time, because PETA has not been on the good side of the fence recently,
Hmm.
um, that says a lot. So, Alinity, you fucked up. You gotta fix some shit. But anyways, let's move on. We're gonna move on to the next negative thing before we get into the positive thing. So, Call of Duty Modern Warfare is coming back. We reacted to it. It's gonna be awesome. Like, we haven't posted the video yet, but we're gonna post it soon. So this comic book article says Call of Duty Modern Warfare is being slammed for its white phosphorus kill streak. So yes, you read that correctly and you heard that correctly. It's white phosphorus. So white phosphorus, as you know, is chemical warfare, which is a war crime, and war crimes are very, very,
Crime.
very, very, very fucking illegal. So it's not okay for Call of Duty to just be like, yeah, here's a casual war crime as just something you can use in everyday battle. You can use this multiple times over. That's fine. No, that's not fine. Like,
Well, they also did back in Modern Warfare 2. They got a lot of slander, a lot of shit for the airport scene, especially since
hmm
it came out around the time of 9/11, right?
yeah,
So, and it like yeah, you shouldn't do that, especially since it's modern warfare. You shouldn't be doing anything like that.
hmm
Like, but it's in a way it kind of it's so no you like I agree with no you shouldn't, but I see why they kind of wanted to change it up a little bit and like they had napalm strikes in
Black Ops.
World at War. Maybe both of them.
hmm
Right, they have all kinds of things, so it's killing people in a game. So is it going to actually affect you personally
hmm
or people who's like getting it's just another way that people are going to get raged, I
hmm
think, like gameplay. Like would you obviously you wouldn't do this in real life. Like that would be terrible, but
Yeah.
it's kind of again, I'm on like both I'm looking at this on both sides of the coin here too because like yeah, should you have even brought that up as a kill streak?
Probably not.
No, you probably shouldn't have. Like, it's pretty dumb. I do think they're gonna revamp the entire game? Like, if it's already been set and it's already about to release, like it's coming out in October,
hmm
like, do you think they're gonna pull the game?
No. They
Like,
could change this one thing. They could change the white phosphorus easily. They could just change it to Nova 6 gas, the gas that's been used in all of the Black Ops games.
hmm
Could kind of switch it to that, even though that kind of doesn't fit, but it
yeah,
is a little bit better. But then again, that is still like chemical warfare.
hmm
So it's really hard to kind of like go in and say like, yeah, this is totally wrong, but it's a video game. Like, it's not like these people are gonna be like, oh yeah, white phosphorus, I'm gonna go find some and commit actual war crimes. It's like, no.
yeah,
It,
exactly.
mhm,
It's like people blaming Mortal Kombat for people getting in street fights. Like,
it doesn't make sense. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's our opinions. I honestly couldn't care. Like, from what it says, it's like it's a stun suppressant that burns if you get too close to it, which is not usually associated with Call of Duty games. That
whatever.
are,
They have radiation in Black Ops 4.
hmm
Like,
like,
honestly, I think people getting super like oh like it's a freaking game. Like,
hmm
stop whining about it. Like
hmm
that's
they're
stop whining about what's going on in a game. It's not like people are doing this shit in real life.
no, but like I can kind of see the point. It's like you shouldn't be like exposing young children to like white phosphorus into like war crimes and stuff like that, because let's face it, most of the Call of Duty community is like fucking 12 years old. So people are
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh yeah, I want to get in the military and go like white phosphorus an entire village. Like, that sounds super fun. Like, but no one's gonna do that. Nobody If they're
Yeah.
sensible about it, then it's fine. It's all about how it's been used. So,
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. It's not like you're gonna go around grab an AK and start shooting up a
hmm
town.
hmm
I don't know. It's a whole it's that's a lot of people that I'm on the pro side of like gaming and stuff like that of like don't blame video games or media for what shitty people do.
hmm
So
I honestly don't really have an opinion on this topic too much. I'm like, yeah, maybe it shouldn't be used, but also like it can be used. It's kind of like freedom of speech in a way, but like
yeah.
I don't know. That's just my opinion. Like I really couldn't care less.
Mm.
Whether or not it's in the game, that doesn't really matter too much in the long run.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there was a game that came out that was called Hatred, and it was basically you just play as a psychopath who goes around and killing every single person until you yourself get shot to death.
Yeah.
Like,
See, and like Grand Theft Auto, you go around just when you're bored in that game, you just go around and start killing people. Like,
nah, that's false. When you get bored in that game, you start driving like an actual human being.
oh yeah,
That's the
actually following the lights and everything.
there you go. That's the point of boredom in Grand Theft Auto. When you're done robbing banks and you're just like, I'm bored, and it's when you start driving like a normal person. Yeah, that's what that is. But anyways, let's.
Yeah.
That's our.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, there you go. What do you guys think? So, anyways, let's move on from the depressing stuff. Let's move on to the cool stuff. So, the Fortnite World Cup or whatever was hosted. Didn't really care too much to watch it, but this big highlight came in. I was asked about it at work, and people wanted to know my thoughts about it. 16-year-old Kyle, I think it's Bugha, Giersdorf, wins $3 million at Fortnite World Cup Finals solo division. So, shout out to him. Gold
Way to
medal.
make a living.
$3 million in one day. He secured 59 points, which I don't know how the points were rated, but that ended him in first place. And he won. 200 of the top Fortnite players were picked, and he won.
Wow.
So, there you go. $3 million.
I wouldn't come close to that. I'm terrible at Fortnite.
Like, everyone's like, oh, I could be a pro gamer. It's like, yeah, you missed out. You missed out on $3 million. All those little kids are like, I want to be a Fortnite god. It's like, you got to really step up to beat this kid. 16 years old. Like, and this is a huge shout to all the parents that are like, you should get a job. Video game will take you nowhere. Clearly, because, I just made $3 million off of playing Fortnite. I'm sponsored by a team. I'm going to get a ton more sponsors now that I won. I'm going to be able to sit in my basement and play video games until I'm 89 years old.
That's such a terrible way of life, though,
Oh,
in my opinion. Like, yeah, of course you're making money. It's fun and stuff like that. But in like teenage years, say 12 years old to 30 at the most is like that maximum age range of gaming professional career or whatever. Even if you're making money, you can retire after 30, for example, right? If you do it for that amount of time. Like even that's just other than just money, like it's just a weird way of life to me. If you take money out of the equation, you're not experiencing life. So I think that's part of adults and parents' reactions to it is like, yes, of course you're making money, you're doing, and you have a community because most of these people they have, you have tournaments, you make friends and stuff like that. But yeah, and you have them, but it's just once you do that, once all you're doing is being a professional gamer, you're not living life to the full potential as you could.
Like,
to some people, maybe, I don't know.
To some people, I can see that. Like,
Yeah.
there are people at my work that absolutely hate gaming. Because I remember 2 years ago, I was writing a script that was basically like esports versus regular sports, and I would ask people about it, and they'd be like, "I think sports is more mainstream, and that's what we've known, but I don't like. I see how esports is good, but I just don't agree with it." And I was totally fine with that opinion. But I had people that are like, yeah, esports players, they're all just fucking sweaty nerds that sit in their basement and they don't provide anything to society. And it's like, well, no, they do. They provide taxes. They provide entertainment for us, like Jimmy Fallon does, or Jimmy Kimmel, that like loser who doesn't understand video games. Like,
Yeah.
you guys watch Jimmy Kimmel, we watch TSM's Bjergsen. Like that's what it is. We watch,
Oh, yeah.
like there's Ninja, there's Summit 1G, Pokimane, Disguised Toast, Scara. Like, there's tons of people doing this
Oh yeah.
thing. And we need, like, fresh entertainment and stuff like that. So live streams are a way to do it and stuff like that. But when you were saying, like, they aren't living life to their fullest, I kind of disagree, because I look on Twitter and I see, like, esports players that are going from Europe to North America to Asia to
Okay.
like
Yeah.
they travel a lot,
Yeah,
and
'cause they have the money.
they have the money to do it, and they also have the kind of freedom to do it, and there's a lot more creative like outlets and stuff like that. There was a guy who went to, I think it was either Japan or Korea. He went there and he had a backpack on him that was like his computer basically, and he was live streaming. He was doing like a in real life live stream basically.
Oh,
With,
cool.
yeah, so he was able to include everyone. And it was like some type of unique thing. It's like, yeah, cool. I travel around the world. Or a guy like Trainer Tips Nick, who goes around the United States. He just bought himself a van. He's going around the United States playing Pokemon Go, like doing documentaries, making awesome videos and stuff like that. And he's living the dream basically. He has 550,000 subscribers. The last time I checked, no, he's up to 850,000 now. And he bought himself a van to go do something like that. So, like, people think because you're a gamer, that's all you do is sit inside and you game. That's some people. Some people are like, cool, I do this for my job. I played like 8 hours today. I'm going to go take a break. They go out, have dinner, go see a movie, go something like that.
Anyone that's going into a career that they really like for example, myself, I'm going into like filmmaking. I'm still gonna want to go out and like I'll go home. I'll still even want to like watch a movie, even if though I just went and started making a movie, for example.
Yep.
Like it's just because it's a passion for you. I guess that's a good thing if that's what you want to get into. And I guess this 2019 like 21st century mentality, it's not, oh, you have to have a labor job to be successful anymore, right?
No.
You know,
You just have to be uniquely talented.
Yeah, it's the one thing that's hard about it is like the young kids that are like 12, 13, that they want to kind of get into career, but you know, you still have to go have the education of high school, right?
Yep.
That's the one part that's kind of bad is young kids that are like, oh, I'm just gonna be a YouTuber or whatever. Like I don't mind like once you're say 17 or so and you're almost done high school and you're still continuing your education, go for it, do whatever you need to do. But yeah, if you're too young, like that's when it turns to the parents being like, okay, you still need to, that's when you go like, get your education and live your life a little bit before you jump into something like this.
Yeah, because if you don't have high school education, you're basically just fucked.
Yeah.
Not even a part-time job will hire you, because it's like, you didn't graduate high school? It's like, yeah, but I worked as a video game like streamer for 10 years. It's like, oh, that's cool, but you need to have basic high school education for this. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good thing that falls kind of getting at basically.
And different career opportunities have different perks and stuff like that. Like lawyers and stuff like that are very, very wealthy, so they can be like, cool, I just worked like 5 weeks or like 5 days in a row, I'm going to take the next week off. And they just go and they're just like, hey, I have enough money to go somewhere, travel for a little bit, come back, and I'm still fine. Like, yeah. So it all depends on the job. It all depends on the type of person you are, because some people are like, cool, if I just sit here and I play this game endlessly, that's all I need in life. But some people want more. So
yeah, exactly.
You can't really just be like, yeah, you need to get out more. Like, I know you're extremely happy here, but you can't do that. You can't be just extremely happy here. You have to go somewhere else. And it's like, no, but I want to stay here. It's like, nope, too bad.
Yeah, exactly. People hating on someone because they're extremely introverted.
Exactly. Like, that's what I don't understand about people like, oh, I don't accept like professional video gaming. It's like, why? They were like, oh, because professional video gaming, you don't do anything. You just sit in your basement and you just play video games. It's like, yes, but in regular sport, you have to, sit on a field for 6 hours a day doing the exact same thing. You're practicing, you're communicating, you're like trying to get better at the game, and then you go into a tournament. And if you win, you win. If you lose, and you get it better. And like it's literally the exact same concepts. You're literally just playing on 2 different mediums.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what people like. I don't understand how they're so close-minded. If it's like, yeah, well, if you're sitting in the basement, it's not as hard as running around a field. It's like, true. But have you tried to understand the huge mathematical equations that go into a Hearthstone game? Like you're basically playing poker, but instead of having 2 cards in your hand, you can have up to 10 and then a billion in your deck and then a billion in the other person's deck and all the cards in their hand, and you have to work out all of the interactions and stuff like that. It's not just, hey, there are 52 cards in a deck, figure out the odds. It's, hey, there are 60 cards in a game, figure out the odds. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Like it's not just it's not just nerdy little kids like I'm gonna play some Warcraft and
yeah,
like you
it's
know,
not. It's not.
which there are those people.
Yeah,
Granted, but
it's not
there
just
are
people that are just playing the game just to be playing it. There are people that are like, hey, I want to know every single outcome of every single card, like.
and figure out strategies. It's called strategy games for a reason.
Exactly that. Or even games like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is like fast-paced shooter. You need to understand like where the spawns are, like how much damage can your gun deal, like what's the hit pattern, like what's the best place to go, what's the best strategy, what can you run, like there's
Exactly.
It's not like soccer.
Yeah, I don't follow all that stuff. That's why I'm terrible at Call of Duty. I just go around and use whatever gun I figure is best for that map size, which I'm good at, and then I'll
just
but
run around.
I'm casual. Like I'm not a noob. I've been playing Call of Duty since I was 14. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been playing Call for years, but I'm still not like I couldn't come close to playing in like a pro. Like I just got my ass kicked earlier today, hardcore.
Lamau.
But
Alright.
yeah, it was 200. We were playing domination. It was 200 to 54.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we got
Smashed.
Yeah.
Rough.
Anyways,
so let's move on to the last topic. This kind of leads into our favorite anime and TV shows. So the title of this one, if I scroll up here, is Disney Investor Keen for Company to Buy Activision Blizzard. So imagine Disney having Activision and Blizzard. So
Disney's gonna rule the world.
Disney's gonna rule the world. So I was looking at this article. The investment firm reportedly owns $22 million worth of shares in Disney and 4.3 in Activision. They would have the IPs and the game companies to make awesome games like Lion King or Star Wars. So just think of it this way: instead of having EA Star Wars, you have Blizzard's Star Wars.
Nice.
Think how fucking cool that is. So Activision apparently is currently valued at $37 billion. That's how much they are. So when Disney acquired Lucasfilm, it was only $4 billion. So this is a pretty hefty investment for these guys.
Yeah.
This is absolutely nuts. So I'm excited to see what this turns out to be. If it turns out to be cool, Disney owns Activision and Blizzard. It's like, cool, now take away the rights from EA for Star Wars. Give them to Activision and Blizzard. Blizzard has put out amazing games in the past. They could probably make like an MMORPG based around Star Wars that's absolutely incredible. It doesn't require microtransactions.
Yeah, which makes sense because Disney owns, like you just said, Disney owns Lucasfilm, which is Star Wars. So might as well like, and then fuse them together with Marvel as well.
There you go. Marvel, Disney, and Star Wars. Like,
Yeah.
there you go. There's a fucking dream team on your hands. So yeah, Disney's gonna rule the world is basically what this article said. So that's basically all that article had to say. So
I wonder how long it will take before Disney buys Google.
I know that's the question.
Because like Google and Disney are the two biggest companies. I'm pretty sure. I could be spitballing here. There might be something bigger, like Apple or something. But
I think
Apple's up there as well. But like Google, like Disney is obviously like probably the biggest company. Oh, Microsoft is up there as well. Anyway, but like whenever anyone says, "Oh, it doesn't have an answer for something," Google it. Like that's so when Disney like, what happens when Disney buys Google?
Yeah.
You can't watch porn anymore because you type it and it's censored by Disney.
Instead of actually seeing it, you just see the little Mickey Mouse face, like one of those hidden Mickeys just covering everything. You're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll just have sex in real life. Jesus. You don't need to call me out already. So, anyways, that's gonna do it for the gaming corner. Let's move on to the favorite anime and TV shows. So I'm gonna let Davis take the reins on this one because this was his idea.
Oh, well, okay. I don't know if I want to go with like a list or just kind of I'm just gonna go off the ones off the top of my head and then kind of like justify it a little bit afterwards.
Just go nuts,
The
dude.
main okay, so I'm going originally like the why I thought of this is because of a show that I'm watching right now is Young Justice.
Hmm.
It's a really good show because I'm not like as everyone should know, I'm a comic book fan, but I'm more Marvel than DC.
Yep.
But animated DC shows are just a lot better. Young Justice, if you don't know about the show, what it is basically the first season came out in 2010.
Hmm.
It's Superboy, one of the Robins, Miss Martian, and a couple other characters. Basically, it's the Justice League, but like younger character, the sidekicks or whatever.
Yeah.
They go through and then each season they kind of grow up like someone would in real life, and they introduce new characters and everything. They finally got. It took years because it took until the DC Universe platform got launched
Hmm.
to get this show back on the air. A lot of people were excited when it actually finally came out. I it's really interesting because they actually go through like especially in this new season they go through um gay and lesbian relationships. They go through like because a lot of stuff like metahumans
Hmm.
in DC, it's the same thing with mutants in Marvel,
Yeah.
where they would it's the same. It's kind of showing like stereotyping or something like that, like racism and everything,
Hmm.
but with powers and stuff like that. So,
Yep.
but they explore a lot of concepts in these shows with showing it in a like somewhat kid friendly, but like young, like older kids. Like you wouldn't want your young kids watching this. I
Hmm.
don't think because there's actually violence. Like there's one character. Her name is Halo. She can uh different colors of her like she has different auras
Hmm.
and different colors do different things. And there was one time it literally showed her getting her throat slit and blood splashing out, and then she had to heal herself. So it's like holy shit, like you wouldn't want to watch this
Yeah.
as a as a kid. But I don't know, it's a really good show. Like too bad it only has 3 seasons, or else like I've rewatched the entire thing again. Like it's just really good to kind of follow the characterization. The animation is amazing
Hmm.
and stuff like that. Um, Another kind of show that I really liked as a kid, and I rewatched the entire series a few months ago. Was 16. I really liked that show as a kid, and I kind of still connect with it a little bit today. It's a
Wait.
little dated.
Wait. Was 16 the one where the kids are all in the mall?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I love
Jude,
that
Jonesy,
show.
Wyatt, Jen, Caitlin, and Nikki.
Oh my
I
god.
as a kid, I had a crush on Nikki. Because even though most people liked like Jen or Caitlyn because they're like typical, Nikki was like the
Dude,
punk
Jen was
chick.
way better than Nikki was. I'm surprised. You go for Nikki over Jen?
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh. I had
Um,
such a crush on Jen when I was like 8 years old.
yeah, that it was a good show. Most like a lot of people like it was well, especially the first few seasons. It definitely dropped down the later seasons. Like after like 3, 4, it's tried to getting a little more political and stuff. It wasn't as the stories
Entertaining.
were yeah exactly the stories weren't as good. But I like some people shit on the animation style because it's very like very flat. Like they're
Yeah,
but whatever. It's still fun.
it's a
I
decent animation style. How you gonna hate on someone for the art style?
yeah
Like, it's not
exactly
Sonic the Hedgehog, guys. It was pretty good. It was
yeah
unique enough to be different, but it was good enough to be solid animation.
yeah. Like one of my favorite things. I still remember the title. It was Dude of the Living Dead. It was Jude's dream of the zombie apocalypse type thing,
Hmm.
and I think he had to kill them all by putting hot sauce.
Yeah.
Like yeah, and it was I don't know. It's just something that I still really remember.
Hmm.
I really liked that show. Um, what was the other one? Oh, and then going back to kind of childhood slash now that I a little bit now I kind of rewatched it a little bit as well was Kim Possible.
Oh
I
my
watched
gosh,
I
really?
watched that quite a bit. Yeah, it
Kim
was
Possible is legit, dude. That was
yeah
one of the best cartoons ever. That made me want to be a spy.
exactly. Kim Possible was like a good like girl show and boy show, I think, because of
Hmm.
the action and stuff like that. Ron was funny.
Ron
All the
was
characters, all the
Rufus.
yeah. The reason that made me think of this was I watched the Disney made for TV movie, like
Yeah.
live action movie.
Hmm.
It it was it was weird. I kind of got where the way they were going. I it was it, I'm kind of throwing this into a bit of a review, but it's whatever. It was I looked it up. If you ever watch this like anywhere, if you find it online or something like that, it it looks you can tell that it's a made for TV movie. Like the quality is really bad.
Hmm.
The act I like the only thing I liked about it was the actress that they picked for Kim. She was pretty good.
Hmm.
But it was a $40 million movie and it looks like it was made with like five. It's so bad.
Oh God.
Anyway, the show was really good.
Yeah. So
Um,
visuals aren't everything, guys.
yeah, but yeah, that was I don't know. It was, again, it was just a good one because I liked like the action and the comedy, and Ron was funny and Rufus and everything like that too.
Hmm.
Uh, the other those are some of the ones that kind of stuck out for me when I was thinking of this.
Hmm.
But one that watched as a kid and watching now that everyone freaking knows is Dragon Ball. So Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, now Dragon Ball Super.
Never seen.
You haven't seen any of the Dragon Ball
No,
series?
as like I don't watch a lot of stuff nowadays. Like we'll get into one of my favorite TV shows in a little bit, but no, I've never seen a Dragon Ball episode. Never saw Naruto. Uh, I saw like a few basic bitch animes, but we'll get into those later. But nope, never
Oh,
saw Dragon Ball. Never saw it.
yes. That's the one that kind of lead like for Dragon Ball. I remember watching Dragon Ball Z. The only thing that was a piss off with Dragon Ball Z is that it would be say it one episode would be like you're gonna see my ultimate power.
Hmm.
Ah!
Yeah.
Oh no, this is my ultimate power. Ah! What's gonna happen next time on Dragon Ball Z? They come next week, next episode. Ah! One punch, one punch. No, I'm gonna be stronger than you. Ah! So that was like, but when you actually, that's why they kind of revamped it with Dragon Ball Kai. It
Hmm.
was like just it was like only 120 episodes instead of like 300 or something.
Yeah.
They cut out a bunch of the filler and build it up a lot better. Super, I'm well behind on Dragon Ball Super because I'm only watching the dubbed version
Hmm.
and it's on episode like I don't know like 300 something like that and because it's caught up in Japan and everything obviously.
Hmm.
But I'm only watching the dubbed which is only on uh 170 or something like that right now.
Hmm.
So I'm like super I'm still in 2017 for Dragon Ball Super right now. But so I was like, what the because I kept on seeing memes for Dragon Ball and stuff like that a few years ago back in like 20 I guess it would have been 2017 when it first originally came out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because I
Hmm.
didn't follow it, I didn't watch it. Now I'm like, I'm just clicking into these things now.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, that everyone, okay, most people, I can't say everyone,
Hmm.
have seen Dragon
Most
Ball. And
people.
yeah,
Yeah, I am
and
not most people.
like at least have seen a decent amount of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, whatever version of
Yeah,
it would have been.
not
And
me.
then the next one, like the last one that I kind of was thinking of was again childhood slash now was Yu-Gi-Oh.
There
I
it is. I
I
was
wasn't
wondering when you'd bring this up.
I wasn't a huge like I watched Pokemon and Digimon as well, but Yu-Gi-Oh was bigger for me. I liked the concepts. I liked Yugi and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
as I was saying to you earlier before we started, again, same thing with 16. I rewatched the entire series, the entire original saga.
Hmm.
I never really got into what is it, 5Ds and whatever the hell the other
Yeah.
versions of Yu-Gi-Oh are. I watched a little bit of one of them.
Hmm.
GT, I think it's called. I don't remember. Anyway,
Yeah. There's like so many
yeah,
different versions of it. It's hard to
I
keep track.
exactly. I lost interest of it after it became about tokens and like counters and all that stuff. Um, even though the original series, when rewatching the original series, because like Yugi was using hardcore like things you 100% can't do even back then,
Mm-hmm.
like using spell cards that like
Pot of
don't
Greed.
actually, yeah, that don't actually work that they do in real life, or they changed it for the
Yeah.
real life thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like they discontinued, like cut out Pot of Greed, Monster Reborn, excuse me,
They
but a bunch of cards and stuff like that. And I did like the fact that uh what was the character's Weevil? He was like he
mm-hmm.
fucking Yugi had Exodia and he just throws the cards in like that. Just
Mm-hmm.
shows like the realism that they are literally just like paper cards, but it's just a fucking crazy monster.
Yeah.
I I thought the concept was cool. Like the original ones, like I have a super strong monster. He has 1,200 attack points. It's like okay,
Wow.
but
That's neat, kid. That's neat.
yeah,
Here's a blue eyes white dragon.
3,000. Yeah, and you could just summon it. Just
Yeah.
place the card down without doing anything. Yeah, back in what 2002 something like that when it first came
Mm-hmm.
out. And like if I had the time and money and if there was enough popularity behind it, I would still play the game to this day because I
Mm-hmm.
like with Hearthstone for like Yu-Gi-Oh was for me with cards and stuff.
Yep.
I yeah, that's how I follow it, and that's a game that I never got into like Magic or anything like that either, so it was just like, it was nostalgia feels, and it was just always fun. So those
Mm-hmm.
were kind of my top, what did I say, five? Like childhood slash now
Yeah. There you go.
kind of anime shows that I was kind of thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of a bunch more now off the top of my head, but I'll let you kind of jump into a little bit if you want.
I was gonna say there is a YouTube series. I can't remember who it's by, but they talk about how Yu-Gi-Oh got a bunch of cards wrong, like how Pot of Greed is discontinued, or how Monster Reborn has this, or like the Living Graveyard is this, or I don't even know if that's a real card, but like they have an entire series on it, but it's super good, so I definitely recommend seeing it.
Hmm.
Man, I really should have thought of TV shows. The only one that I've been watching right now, like a little bit of here and there, is The Fairly Odd Parents.
Ooh,
A
yeah.
classic from the childhood era of mine, where I would come home and it is either like three TV shows. It was either SpongeBob, it was either Fairly Odd Parents, or it was the Lego Ninjago, which I'll get into a little bit later. But Fairly Odd Parents was really, really good because it was basically like, man, I'm so miserable. I wish I had fairy godparents.
Fairy
And
godparents, as
yeah,
the teacher does.
yeah, there you go. And like watching it, it just made me feel like a kid again. And I was just like, I wish I had a fucking fairly godparents. I wish shit was real. But going to the next one, the Lego
Can I
Ninja.
just sorry? Can I just jump in on? I just want a quick little comment on that.
Go for it.
Do you know that there's a theory that fairy godparents is about Timmy having anxiety issues, and it's his fairy. It's one like Cosmo and Wanda. One, it's the two different effects of his Ritalin or something like that. Like um because like Cosmo's super hyper and it's like talking about his emotional distress of his hyperness, and the other one is like calming him down.
Yeah, it's like the logical side.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sorry, I just remembered that
That's an interesting,
random, yeah,
interesting
a
theory.
theory. Yeah.
I think they're pulling strings with that just because it's like, cool, then every single child in the world has fucking anxiety. Because, like, most kids, besides, like, AJ and Chester and Tootie and a few others, like, they don't have fairly godparents. So it's like, they don't
Mhm.
have anxiety. So, I don't know. It's a cool theory, but
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. I don't know how I
I
feel
don't.
about it. I
You'd
probably,
have to see the entire thing. I could be wrong, but I just know that there was something like that.
it makes sense, though. But let's move on. The Lego Ninjago. Fucking loved that cartoon. Didn't really make sense for a lot of the things, but it was a really good TV show just because it was showing kids things about like honing in on your inner self and hope and teamwork and communication and like your destiny, things like that. And it was just like it linked in really well with the Lego sets and stuff like that. It became
Hmm.
a huge franchise, I like would really love to like get back into, but I'm just so far behind at this point. But
Hmm.
I like saw it on Netflix and I was like, oh, I'll watch it again, and I watched like the entire first two seasons and I'm like, yep, you know what, I'm cool with this. That was a good run by.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna get more into the adult stuff because most of the other ones are like SpongeBob and Pokemon and and I didn't get into Yu-Gi-Oh until I was in like high school, things like that, high school adult age. So as an adult, things have changed. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, easily one of the best comedic TV shows out there.
Oh, okay.
And
I
like,
didn't realize I was jumping to just anime, but sure,
no,
cartoons.
no
But you're
anime
going
slash
TV.
TV shows. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, you're okay. Well, I have a whole lot of other shows that I can talk about if you want.
There you go. Like we could probably do an entire episode of like ranking. We should probably do that. But anyways, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, best anime out there. You know, so realistic.
I'm
No,
rewatching it right now. I was watching it before we started recording.
I have yet to see what are they on. Like what was the new
Six.
season? Like season 6?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's on Netflix.
yeah, still haven't watched it.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm just like I'm in this euphoric state of yeah, the first 5 seasons were amazing. They were like so well done. I watched it 5 times over. I just
6 is still good.
6 is still good, but I've heard it's not as good as the other ones and I'm kind of just scared. I'm just
I think it's just honestly it's just as good. I don't see any drop down even with them being canceled and being picked back up. I
and Gina
I haven't
left.
Yeah,
Like
but that was her personal choice because the actress wanted to work on her stand up more.
yeah, like Chelsea Peretti. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good decision for her. She's fucking funny. So shout out to Chelsea Peretti, but yeah, I was like really sad that Gina left because Gina was like one of those characters that was so well played. I literally hated her. She's like, I fucking hate you. I love you as a human being. I hate you as a character, and that's why I love you as a human being. Like, if I ever
Yeah.
meet Chelsea Peretti, I'm gonna be like, hey, I love you, yet I hate you. And she'll be
Yeah.
like, wait, what? And I'll be like, well, I love you as an actress. Like, your stand-up's pretty good, but I hate the fact that you played Gina Linetti so well, and no one can ever replace that. That's what I hate about it. And then she'll be like, oh, that's a weird way to say it, but I'm like, yeah, fuck you, Gina, you bitch. But, anyways, that was one of mine. What else have I been watching? Like, it's really hard to think of, like, anime. Well, so, okay, I got one. Kekaguri. It's an anime series based around high school, at this elite high school where the rich and wealthy go. Everything there is decided on gambling. Doesn't matter your grades, doesn't matter how physically fit you are. If you can gamble, you're the top of the school. If you can't gamble, you're shit out of luck. So the first season I thought was absolutely amazing because it was like this one girl who comes to school. She doesn't seem to know much about gambling, but she single-handedly like destroys everyone basically, except for like 1 or 2 people, but still shames them enough. And it was just absolutely incredible to see. It was absolutely amazing just to watch. And the second season, it brought in a lot of like politics and stuff like that, and a lot more different strategies. It brought in more furries, which was weird, but
It's anime.
yeah, well, not literal anime, like not literal furries, but it was still good. I definitely wouldn't watch the second season again. I'd watch the first season over. I watched the first season like 3 times in the past like 2 months. It's so fucking good. It's amazing. But yeah, so Kekaguri, and then I would probably say for my favorite anime, it would probably be Seven Deadly Sins. The first season.
See, I've heard of that. But I'm not a huge anime fan. Do you watch dubbed or subbed?
I watch depends on the anime.
Okay.
With Kekaguri, I watched it dubbed in English, but for Seven Deadly Sins, Soul Eater, Full Metal Alchemist, or no, not that one.
Full Metal I watched in English.
Full Metal Alchemist, like the Brotherhood,
Yeah.
it's so good in English,
Yeah.
so freaking good in English. But with
I
Seven
still
Deadly
have the
Sins,
manga.
do you still?
I have 1 to 24 or something like that of the manga.
Wow, I should fucking. I was gonna get the Seven Deadly Sins manga, but I am not looking for.
I'm Full Metal manga is the one I was talking about.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. No, I'm just saying, like in general, I should get.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
But anyways, Seven Deadly Sins was my favorite because like it has music I still listen to this day. All the characters were cool from the Seven Deadly Sins, even though the second and third seasons were kind of garbage. Like the first season wrapped everything up so nicely, except for the fact that there were only 6 deadly sins that we met instead of 7. But it was absolutely incredible. Like you have Bon who steals people's power and stuff like that. You have the Fairy King called Harlequin, uh, or
Really, Harley Quinn?
Harlequin. Yeah, not joking you.
Not joking,
No,
but
let's move on. He's
sorry, I can't.
he had to do it. But anyways, like there are so many cool like sins and stuff like that. I even wanted like a seven deadly sins tattoo. Like I was gonna get on my shoulder up here. I was gonna get the dragon sin of wrath, like it's a Ouroboros. I wanted to get that, but I kind of passed up. I passed on it. It's super cool though, and I absolutely love it. And Meliodas, even he's not my favorite character, but he is one of the best characters because he's so funny and it's a little bit perverted, but if you can handle that, like you'll have a great time with this anime. There's so much action, there's drama, there's like twists and turns and stuff like that. It's just amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. Like the thing with Seven Deadly Sins is there's things called Holy Knights where everyone has like different elemental powers and stuff like that. Like there's one guy and everyone has like a different suit of armor and a different weapon. Full like Meliodas has the power to counter any single magic attack that's aimed at him back at twice the power.
Oh shit.
So yeah, he can even use something like a spoon to deflect it. Like in the second season, he literally just takes a spoon and just deflects a fireball back at this little like at this someone who just fires a fireball at him. Or what else is it? There's one character who like can use lightning, or a character that can use gravity, or rocks, or void, or death, or ice, or something like that. Like it's ridiculous, and I definitely would recommend watching the first season but leaving it there.
Oh yeah.
The rest of the seasons like fall off. The second season was 4 episodes. It was filler garbage. Third season it tried doing something with the it's not the seven deadly sins, and it's like the
Four Horsemen.
pardon?
Four Horsemen.
That's what I was thinking, but it's not the Four Horsemen. It's like it's not sins. What the fuck are they? I have to Google this shit now. Yeah.
Jayden's brain is just.
Season 3. Okay. It's a revival of the Demon Clan, so I can't remember. The Ten Commandments, that's what they're called. Jesus. Fuck, how can I forget that?
Again, Jesus.
Yeah, jeez, LeMan. Like, so they fight the Ten Commandments and stuff like that, and you finally get to meet the final seventh deadly sin, whose name is Esknor, who's a total badass, by the way. His power is he's like a sun god, basically. So during the nighttime, he's basically worthless. During the daytime, he turns into this like 20-foot behemoth of a god with like ripped ass body, and has this giant axe, and he's basically unbreakable. Best, like one of the best sins. I think he's honestly like my fourth favorite. It's kind of like weird to say, but it's like all the male characters are at the top and the female characters are kind of at the bottom, because it's like, cool, Merlin's just a basic, like one of the best mages around. Cool. Like this girl, the serpent's sin of envy. She has like this giant hammer and she moves the earth like, not that big. Like Harley Quinn has this weapon that can turn into a bear called a guardian that destroys people, or a giant sunflower that basically just solar beams your asshole into the ground, or like turns into a tiny, like a billion little knives and fucking stabs this dude. Or Meliodas is just a badass in general because he's part demon. Fox, or the Foxin of Greed, who's Bond. He has the ability to steal people's power, which is cool, but his backstory is incredible, because his backstory is he dated Harley Quinn's sister, fell in love with her in a week, and she gave up her chance to live for him, so now he's immortal, basically cursed with living alone, because he no longer has his soulmate, so he's been searching the earth for his soulmate, like finding a way to bring his soulmate back. And I can't remember who the last sin was. Oh my god, how can I forget this shit?
There's this story like that in the originals.
Hmm.
If
Like,
you've ever seen that show,
never seen
it's
it.
it's tied to the Vampire Diaries series. It's a show about the original vampires, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, one of the main characters, he has that same type of agony of missing his first love because like he got turned and stuff and everything and she was human, so he outlived her. And this is set the in like 2016 or something like that, like really recent.
Hmm.
And they were turned back in like 500 BC or whatever, like the Viking era or
Hmm.
whatever. So it's been all these thousands of years, and he's like still gets depressed about it and stuff like that. It's a teen drama, so
Yeah. It's like, like it's just fucking amazing. What the hell has happened? So Gautzer, Ghost Sin of Lust. That's who it is. The fucking the weird doll boy who can just have his head chopped off and be completely fine. Doesn't understand what he wants to understand what it's like to be human. So
he's a little Pinocchio boy.
yeah, basically, he's so caring and so generous, and he loves everything. He's so good.
So, so are these um are they like evil, or like what's the like premise of the story then?
So the premise of
Uh,
the story is the seven deadly sins are a group of holy knights. So the holy knights in the first season are actually the bad guys. Well, they're
mhm.
technically the good guys, but they've been turned evil by the two head holy knights because one of them murdered his brother for power,
Mhm.
and the king has been locked away because he's been sick. So the princess escapes, and he finds Meliodas, the captain of the seven deadly sins, and he's like, "Cool, I'll help you out. I just need to find my friends." So the whole point is that they go find friends and help restore the kingdom.
Okay. It's an
So
adventure story.
kinda, yeah. So they have to grow more powerful. They have to find their ancient artifacts, which are basically these powerful weapons that allow them to use their abilities as much as possible to their fullest possible potential,
Mhm.
and to save the kingdom from demons and shit like that. Like, it's absolutely incredible. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Interesting.
Watched it like 3 times. Loved Seven Deadly Sins. Would definitely recommend to anyone who loves anime and is starting
Mhm.
to get into anime, because Seven Deadly Sins was a Netflix production. Like, it was a Netflix original.
Really?
Yep. I was just like, ooh.
So is it actual anime like Japanese then,
Yep.
or is it American and then they just
It's
make it in
Japanese.
anime style?
I'm pretty sure it's Japanese. Um,
Because
can't.
when you say it's Netflix, because I guess because technically even Netflix originals are just, even when they buy a property, it becomes a Netflix original. So I
Hmm.
guess that's and they do have Netflix in, I don't know, do they have Netflix in Japan? I don't even know.
I don't even know.
So because it could be, and then they brought it over to American side or something like that too. That's other things. Another
Hmm.
option of what could have happened.
Yeah. So I have no I'm not 100% sure, but I couldn't find anything in the
Yeah.
few seconds that I was searching. But it is really good, whether it's Netflix or if it's actually full Japanese, because it's dubbed in Japanese. It's dubbed in English, but don't watch it in English. The English voices suck super bad.
It's better to watch the subbed version.
Absolutely. Watch with subs, not dubs for this one.
Okay, that's why you said it depends on the anime.
Yep, because
Because
like
like
the
Pokemon, you're not gonna watch the Japanese Pokemon.
oh, I will.
Oh, you'd watch the
Are
Japanese?
you kidding me? They're so extra. Like, it's ridiculous. Like instead of being called Greninja, which is a cool name, it's his name is Gekuga, and like he sounds like a badass. And just the anime, like the Japanese sounding voices, like they bring so much more power and emphasis than American voice actors do. It's kind of sad.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Well, I guess that's the original.
mhm.
But that, like, to me, that for when it's a show, again, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, uh, Dragon Ball, any of those shows that I watched as a kid, and
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to, like my mind, I would be like no, because I even tried doing it. I tried watching the subbed version of Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Super because I'm so far behind.
Hmm.
I tried watching it. And I watched like half an episode, and I just not the fact that it's subbed, but just the voices were so. It just I couldn't I couldn't do it. It was just like okay, whatever. I don't mind reading it. It's fine, but it was like Goku's voice is so different
Yeah.
compared in English to Japanese.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it was just like why?
It's two different styles. Like, do you remember the game I kept talking about at school called Octopath Traveler that I did my project on
Yes.
for
Yep.
Transmedia? Yep. They have a Japanese setting in it, and when I turned it to Japanese, I never turned back. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's so much. Well, okay, it depends. If I use a certain party, it goes to Japanese. If I use my main party, it's usually in English because the voice lines are so much better in English.
Hmm.
But it depends. Like there's nothing wrong with going back from English to Japanese just for certain party members, just because sometimes it's like they're a lot more chill in Japanese, and sometimes they're a lot more extra in Japanese, or even in English. Like there's sometimes more chill in English, or there's sometimes more chill in Japanese. But
I'm wonder if in Japan they watch like Japanese dubbed American slash or Canadian
yep,
cartoons.
yeah, I think. Well, I don't know if it's dubbed or not, but I know that's subbed, because one of the Korean guys from BTS, his name is Rat Monster. He learned English fluently from watching Friends. So he watched it.
Yeah.
I think he watched it subbed with subtitles,
Hmm.
like or was it dubbed with subtitles? And then he watched it with subs only, and then he watched it without anything in English. And
And
that's
Friends is a good show to kind of do something like that
mm-hmm,
because it's such a classic show.
mm-hmm. And there's a lot of seasons of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how his mom like basically forced him to learn English, but I don't think he regrets that decision at
That's
all.
an entertaining way of doing it.
Yeah, it's
Like
much better than
like
going to school.
yeah, my French like I'm somewhat fluent in French. Like I know decent enough to kind of hold up a conversation slightly. Like, but I would know better if I actually followed some of my shows. Like I watched a couple movies when I lived there.
Hmm.
Most of the time, anytime I went to a movie, I went to the English because they have like say there's 7 theaters, like 4 of them would be English
Hmm.
because a lot of right. But sometimes, occasionally, I would still go to a movie in French and just listen to it and just watch it and pretty still decently kind of understand it. But
Yep.
yeah, but like that's a little more entertaining way of learning a language, so
Yep.
makes sense.
There you go.
Actually, I have a friend, Doyle. He's kind of sort of learning Japanese for like that reason because he watches anime
Hmm.
in Japanese.
Yep. There you go. Hey, well, I think
So
yeah.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say I'm just gonna list off a couple of really good shows that I'm watching since I didn't know that you wanted to do shows in general, not just uh, anime and cartoons.
Yeah. Okay, we'll
I
go
was
ahead.
just gonna say, I agree with you. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, amazing. I'm watching Suits right now.
Hmm.
That's a really good drama. Um, what was the other? Reality shows. I'm watching Ink Master and Forge and Fire. Um, fuck, I love Ink Master. I want to. It makes me want to get a new tattoo every time I watch the show.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm watching the show on Crave TV called Brockmire. It's about a baseball radio broadcaster
Hmm.
that like just who's like an alcoholic and just flies off the handle all the time. It's a
Hmm.
really good kind of comedy. I'm waiting for Letterkenny to come back. That's gonna be good. I'm gonna rewatch the entire like that's a show you can watch the entire season, like
Yep.
everything in like a day because it
Yep.
only has 6 episodes a season.
There you go.
There's so many more, but okay, I'm just gonna leave it at that for now because like there's so many
Hmm.
more, but I can't think of off the top of my head right now
Hmm.
because I'm watching a lot of shows right now.
Yeah. One show I didn't mention
Oh,
real
Lucifer,
quick.
that was the other one I wanted to say.
Lucifer. That's
Yeah.
I heard it. That was a good one. One I would say to watch if you're a romantics fan would be Jane the Virgin. Jane the Virgin is
Yeah,
pretty good.
I started watching that, but I don't watch it anymore because it reminds me of my ex-girlfriend because she was really into that show and I can't. It
Can't
bugs
stand
me.
it. Yep, there you
Yeah,
go.
it was yeah.
We'll stay away from that conversation. But anyways, I think that's gonna do it for us here on the podcast.
What are your guys' favorite shows, anime, what have you, and whether it's animated cartoon,
TV shows,
TV shows?
reality
Let
shows.
us know.
Uh, let us know what you think on the Alinity and the white phosphorus topics, because that's really interesting. Like, I never knew people would be like
Outraged.
yeah, well, I mean, the thing with the
Wow.
cat, especially because it's not only like animal abuse, it's also because it's preferential treatment. Because like everyone would be like, yeah, if this was a man, they'd be banned instantly. If this was since this is a female, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, because of all this drama, Twitch is just gaining money from this. So there you go. But anyways, we've already talked about that topic.
Yeah.
Make sure to subscribe to us. Make sure to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Tweet us on Twitter. All the links are down in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us here.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
All
Talk
right.
to you later.
Peace. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, make sure to like and subscribe for more. And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Links will be in the description.